Okay, we are live. Fraser, welcome. How we going?
Hello. Hey, good. How are you, Chris?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all. So you've been busy this week, I see.
Yeah, after last week doing player stories and whatnot, I had jumped into sort of our wiki doc working on that. But then today I took a break from that to make what will be our first social media post later this
Ooh,
afternoon. I've got
ooh.
it over on your side as a little preview for anyone who's
Mm-hmm.
watching.
This is the world premiere. Come on,
Exactly.
let's not understate it. The world premiere of Arvo. So 44 seconds. Where are you going to put it?
I've got an Instagram account, Chronoboros,
Mm-hmm.
and a YouTube channel, Chronoboros.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll probably link to those on the Blue Sky account, which is also Chronoboros.
Right. You don't have a TikTok?
I've got the page parked, but I don't use TikTok personally, so it's maybe something in the future if once I get the others established. I think.
Fair enough. Well, let's have a look. Let's see what it's like. So you've literally, this is hot off the press. You've
Yeah,
literally just, you've
this
literally
is cooked
just.
5 minutes ago.
Alrighty, here we go.
Making this game about delivering stuff in the outback. You talk to robots who give you stuff. You put that stuff in your ute, and then you take it to another robot. But at the same time, you need to be careful, or else. We've also got enemies. They're still being worked on. There's just two of us working on the game right now, but we're making progress and we'll keep posting that progress here. But if you want to try it out right now, the prototype that you've been watching is on itch. You could go play it. And if you have any thoughts about what you've seen or you've played it, we would love to know. Okay, thanks.
Hey, there we go. Looks good. Now, one suggestion I would make initially,
Mm-hmm.
um, it wouldn't be much harder to do just a non. Why is that not? That's weird. PLC media player. It's okay. Uh, why is that? That's really weird. Sorry. Anyway, it should be. Where did it go? Did you make that like an automatically deleting self deleting video or something?
I hope not.
Where's it gone? That
Did
is.
VOC eat it? Like a tape? Just
I don't know.
shoot it up?
That's kind of really weird. What I was gonna say though is what I was gonna suggest was doing a wide version of it. I mean, it wouldn't be too difficult to do that. You basically take the same thing and do just a normal 16:9.
Yeah, I mean, all the footage is originally shot. I'd have to get a background for the subtitles, which wouldn't be hard. I just don't know where I would put that, you know?
YouTube, YouTube.
I guess, yeah.
I mean,
Um,
that's yeah. Just a suggestion. I mean, then you sort of double your content for very little very little extra effort, I guess.
and I think as the first post, it can go up as like the YouTube, like, the autoplay video when you go to a YouTube channel. Um, that's probably good. I just think in the future, it's like, I don't know, all the games stuff I see, it's always on my phone. I don't often see much games promotion like that on the computer unless I'm actively seeking it out.
Okay,
So
okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's fair
yeah,
enough.
that's just my take on it, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's fair enough. Cool. Anyway, looks good.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm very
Yeah,
interested
we
to see
were
what you
heavily influenced by there's a uh Instagram page for sledding game, I think they
Mm-hmm.
called it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot of posts like that, and uh, yeah, so sort of using that as a template, but also what Gemma and I were talking about is I think Earnesty is sort of the key driver in in any of those videos that take traction. So
Sorry, earnesty
that's
or honesty?
is there a difference?
Earnesty or honesty? You can be earnest and dishonest. Yeah, sure.
Uh,
Is it?
I mean both, I suppose. Though.
Hopefully honest. But were you
Earnest,
saying
honesty.
earnest? Were you saying earnest? So,
I was saying earnest.
so what do you
but,
mean by that?
You know, being genuine and honest in that way, I suppose, but also
Right.
like I feel like you can be honest but be kind of dull about it. And in my head, earnesty is like, you know, honesty but a bit more
Upbeat.
outwardly presenting. Yeah.
Upbeat. Fair enough. Fair enough. Nice. So, I mean, you're going to upload that to YouTube and different things. So, give us a link when you've got that up there. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. And what else are we going to talk about? So, is there anything else you want to say about a world premiere of your YouTube short?
No, not really. I mean, have a look at it on the socials when it goes up and give it a like, yeah, please.
Sure.
So we can
Sure.
spread the word about our game.
Have you? Okay. Let me jump into, I guess, mentor mode here. Now, have you? Oh, I'm in the wrong. I think I'm in the wrong Discord channel. I think I am. Damn. Maybe I'll have to look at it next time. But yeah, we could talk about marketing and Chris. Oh goodness, I always get his name wrong. But I think I have got. Hang on. Let me. Do I have him? I think I have too many. Following too many YouTube channels. Come on, it's not here. Hang on. Oh no, there we go. How to market again. Here we go. Let me grab that one. So you haven't looked at oh, I can't remember his name. It's Chris. What's his name? Chris. Come on, Chris. Where's your name? It's not my name. It's not me, obviously. I keep forgetting his last name. It's Polish, I think. But you haven't joined his channel. His oh, okay. He hasn't got his other stuff up there at the moment. So he also has a pretty good Discord channel as well.
Right.
I would
I'm not
definitely
sure. This
recommend.
sounds. As I say, I think you've recommended before. But I don't think
I will
looked
have.
into it.
Yeah. So Chris Zukowski. I always forget the name. Sorry. But I definitely recommend. I mean, he's got classes you can pay for, but he's also got a really good community, which I think is the thing you can really hook into when you're marketing a game. So you've got people who can potentially. They can critique your marketing stuff, but they can also help you to get more views and more likes on your marketing stuff. So, what's this got here? He's got learn. Maybe he's stopped. That's interesting. Pro game marketing. Oh, this must be the. I'm just trying to find his Discord. It's quite interesting. So, but you can see how to make a Steam page free. So he's got some free courses there, marketing ideas. And so I haven't done any of his paid courses, but I think a lot of people have. So you might do game marketing roadmap. Oh, $1,000. There you go. That's that must be the good one, I would say. But yeah, look, I'll give you his Discord group. Oh, actually, hang on. Maybe You can see we prepared beforehand. Oh, that's where it goes. Okay. Oh, okay. So that's just where we go. All right, I'll post that in the. You can check that out.
Okay.
But I think the more support you get, the more likely you are to be successful. There you go. There's the link anyway.
Thanks.
Cool. And there's also his YouTube page. Some information up here. Doesn't do a lot on YouTube, but yeah, I would definitely check out what he's got going. So, all right. Well, we'll talk about how you go, how successful things go over time, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Nice. What are we doing next? Is that it? Can we finish up? We can have an early day.
I mean, we can if you wanted to, but I do have. I would be happy to go through some of the writing I've done, not necessarily as in depth as we did with the player stories, but just to sort of get your vibe on how that's coming along.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a link for me?
I'll probably share screen because I don't know how well these docs will go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hang on, I'm in the wrong. Here we go.
One of the things I've learnt about Google Docs and their documents tabs and outline and stuff is that you can only have so many sub tabs. So I just changed the structure a bit. Before everything was in the overview tab, but now they all break down into their individuals.
So how many can you get out? Just 3, is it?
Yeah. I think you can only have 2 like main ones. I don't think I can add. Yeah, that's it.
Right. Is that enough?
Yeah, so it's so far, but also one of the things, because I've been doing a lot of work, like I brought in the player story, but then I started writing about the inhabitants, which are the robot NPCs that I've talked a lot about.
Yep.
And so less of like player stories, but still more narrative writing for now.
Yep.
And then using the hyperlinks to drill into more documents. So this is one of the documents tabs with references and more information to be added. But then stuff like the Rogue AI, which is a central character that won't have an actual presence in the game, but sets up a lot of the plot stuff.
The Rogue AI. So are these the enemies?
Yeah. So basically, in terms of plot, we came up with this idea that because we have Paladine, which is our sort of evil corporation, and in their servers, the Rogue AI was born, unbeknownst to them. And the Rogue AI is trying to inhabit a physical body because it's stuck in these servers as a digital presence. But every time it does, it's creating one of the robot NPCs. And in that moment, it forgets that it was successful, and the robot NPC forgets where it came from, and so they kind of diverge as consciousnesses.
Oh, interesting.
So
I like that. That's an interesting little twist.
Excellent. I'm glad. There's all these little, like it gives us a lot of reasoning for the lore, but essentially what that means is the exclusion zone, where all the robots are inhabited, was where the first robot was created. The company founder had no idea how that happened. Didn't want anyone to see it, so they've locked off the whole area. And then over time, as the AI has tried to inhabit a new body, it makes a new robot. Paladine finds it, throws it in the in the fenced-off area with the other one, and so that's how the community was built over time. And then the idea is, Rogue AI kind of knows it's been trying to do this for a long time, but knows it's never succeeded, but doesn't really understand more than that. And then has realized that there's all these sentient robot machines in this area, and thinks, oh, maybe instead of making a body for myself, I could take over one of those. And so it has created enemies, which are like a digital manifestation to go and sort of scout out the area. And so that's giving all this lore reasoning as to why they're there, why you're
Right.
there, why the robots are there, and sort of it's been
Okay.
really helpful to flesh out all of that.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. That's really interesting to hear. Nice. So,
And
so where does the rogue AI live? That's sort of outside somewhere.
yeah, so it's all outside of sort of the game's physical scope.
So you never really encounter the rogue AI?
That's the current plan, just because I think scope would
Just part of the
balloon
backstory.
infinitely at that
Yeah.
point. Yeah,
That's fair enough. Yeah.
and we have ideas for like, most of the robots don't know they came from this singular shared AI source, but maybe one of them has some sort of like connection to it, and so they become sort of like the person who's got having visions, and we can touch into like sort of Cthulhu-y, eldritch horror-y, culty sort of themes in that character, while hinting to lore without having to be explicit about like everything I've just listed off, basically.
Yep. Yep. Cool.
I also had, I guess it's not properly linked, but I have done some more writing about the servo. I wanted to do more. I wanted to get through the player in the car as well, but this took quite a bit of time because I was writing this, linking it, and then having to take bits and write about them, and then also coming up with characters. We had a few characters in there in the original player story. They've now got character sheets, and they've got details and names, which is the hardest thing. And yeah, tying them back into the lore. But it was nice once it finally got to that point that I talked about last week, where it's like I'm not having to come up with things out of the blue as much.
Yeah.
I now have enough background where I can make choices based on what I've already established.
So can I ask a couple of questions? So I'm just
Yeah.
you're kind of losing me, I guess.
Sure.
I'm sure. Yeah, you're going through, and I'm like, what's going on? So hang on, let me just jump back. So the inhabitants, yeah, okay. So we got NPC 1, NPC 2. So who are the NPCs?
So these are characters who we came up with like a month plus ago. So this one is the air conditioner unit, and this one is a vending machine.
Oh, okay.
But these documents haven't been touched since then.
Right.
I'll come back to them at some point and work them up
And what about
get them fit in.
BG William?
So that's
Bubblegum William.
that's our bubblegum dispenser machine.
Oh, okay.
So this guy is the manager of the servo. Because we really like, I think we've talked about it plenty, but the idea of the machines do human things sort of as part of their DNA. So, there's nobody being served, or there's no currency exchange, but he still inhabits the role of like the manager at the servo. And then he's tied to the others. So Clarence, our self-serve checkout, who in the other player story was working on cleaning it, and then Impulse, who is our petrol pump. The lore we're currently working with is essentially they were the first machine created, so they're also the oldest.
Right. Okay.
And so there's a lot of like bits in there that we can hint at through dialogue, but as a gameplay role, they occupy the workshop, and they're the mechanic. So they're shy and they tinker with mechanical bits, and then once we've done the tutorial, I can imagine it being like an unlock, where it's like, oh, you're trusted enough now that they will upgrade your car. And
okay, nice. So with the Clarence one, you've got different images there. Can you go back to Clarence?
Yeah.
So were you planning to have more than one? Is this like a type of NPC, or is this just one NPC and you've got they like having different colors sometimes?
Yeah, well, for concept art, it's just to test the different color variants to see which one we liked more. I personally am quite hesitant to have duplicates of characters. I I think like narratively and emotionally, we want the robots to be full blown characters. So I think
Okay.
having identical ones or even color shifted ones would feel sort of shallower a little bit. Um,
Right. Right.
so yeah, as we work more, this image will be refined. Eventually, hopefully, we'll have a screenshot of them in game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do. There is one robot that I'm tossing around the idea of having like multiples of, which would be the telephone, pay telephones.
Okay.
Um, but I'm still workshopping that. I'm like in my head, there's this idea of like the telephones being on the network and so being able to talk to each other, and like what does that mean in a gameplay sense? Is it worth sort of breaking that rule about one robot, one character?
Hmm.
Figuring that one out.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. 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 Cool. Okay. I'm getting that now. So that's all your NPCs.
Mhm.
Yep. Carry on.
Yeah, and so that's drilled down from like the character list,
Yeah.
where it's just straight up listing them, and then oh, I didn't mean to do that. The inhabitants with their overview of like, yeah, what the inhabitant characters are, and then yeah, clearly listing them all out.
Mm-hmm.
Events hasn't had much done to it yet. Location list, that was the other one I started on. So we have the servo now as an official location.
Yeah.
And so the exclusion zone is the broad one, but the servo, and so
So that's
all,
what you've been
this is the main
mostly.
body of writing.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
what you've been mostly working on this week. Takes a bit of time, doesn't it?
Yes, especially like I had 2 copies of this document open, so I could have the overview up, and then I could make like duplicate the template and make a page for Clarence and link it up, and then come back and then keep typing about them. But I was thinking a lot about what we were saying last week with not trying to do too much. So this paragraph,
Mm-hmm.
it's like 2 sentences each for each character, but I don't even describe the character. It's just their relevance to being in the servo, with the
Right.
idea that if you need to know more about one of them, you can click their link and go to
Yes.
their page.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Um,
Did you find you got a little
The-
bit lost, sort of doing that as well? Like the structure you can get a little bit, because I found sometimes working within the structure, within the sort of hierarchy, I can get a little bit confused and get lost as to where I am. Did you find anything like that?
yeah, 100%. That's where I was trying to get to just now. Is that was the main problem I've had. My thinking was, don't let that get in the way of actually putting work down, though.
Mm.
It's
I
a
wonder.
lot easier.
I wonder if there's a different solution, because a different visual. So I guess I'm thinking. I wonder whether just presenting right. So you need to have these documents, yeah. This thing. So what I've found can kind of just get a bit of the cognitive overload is that is differentiating one from the other and trying to work out the links. I wonder whether it would be better to have something like a and I'm thinking pie in the sky here kind of thing. You know, this is if I was to create a whole new app or something. But you know, if you go back to do you have your Canva board there as well? Because I'm thinking something along those lines. Whether that would be easier so that you can actually see a diagram and the links between the. Yeah, so if you had something like this, and then you could like double click, you know, just say you had your documents and then you had your links between your documents.
Right.
Whether something like that might work as a visual representation might actually work a bit better, or whether it might be more confusing. I'm not quite sure. I'm just sort of thinking, yeah, because that is a bit of a challenge. I find, yeah, getting sort of lost in the words, lost in the structure of the document. If you think of any solutions, let me know, because
There is. I remember there was one software that was going around like the D&D Dungeon Master sort of prep circle on YouTube for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about like taking notes and like linking it in that way. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'll I have no clue where I'd even start to try and find it again, but I might have a look into that because from memory it was like kind of like hyperlinked, kind of like nested,
Mm.
but I'd never looked into it further. But that might be, I don't know if that's just going to be like an alternative to Confluence and Google Docs, or if it is, significantly different,
Mm.
providing a
Mm.
different visual experience.
What I guess so. Hang on, you can. What things can you put actually in here? Can you actually
In
put
Canva.
documents? Can you put documents on there? You can put text. We're actually looking more for like a document similar to what you've got there in
Let
Google
me.
Docs. I can't see anything there. There's apps. There's
I have a PDF of the
you
player story.
you're uploading that, are you?
Apparently, that went into my projects. Yeah. So it
Hmm.
doesn't. I don't think it's. Comes up just as like a PDF reader,
Right.
not quite as
Hmm.
editing in that way.
Okay, that's all right. Just something for me to think about.
Yeah, because I mean that was it. Well, as I was getting stuck into it, it was like having to keep up with this, and even now, I'm not really happy with how it's nested and laid out.
Yeah.
Like it's very topically sorted, I guess.
Hmm.
Whereas what we've been talking about, it kind of is more beneficial to have it sort of from that design end down through to the lower end with the dot points and diagrams.
I'm
And
also
I think that
thinking
might
of.
be,
Sorry, Karen.
as I say, I think that might be one of the weaknesses with Google Docs and its sort
Hmm.
of limited structuring.
Yeah.
Um, you might
Well, I
not
think
have
all the
enough
wiki,
flexibility.
all the wikis are pretty much the same. From, you know,
Oh,
they
right.
don't provide you. But what I'm thinking, so like for instance, if you had, I think a really good way to do it would be, particularly for creatives. So I'm thinking, having something which works for the creative mind. And I don't think that hierarchical list down the left hand side works particularly well for the creative mind. So creative mind tends to use things like color and maybe simple icons and stuff like that. So I mean, I think what I'm thinking is if you had characters and you had a particular icon for the characters, and then you could link and you had a particular icon for each character, maybe the image or something for each character, and then you could double click on any of those and it would open up the actual document, so you could look at the document at the same time and see the connections between each of those. Something like
That
that
would be
could be
nice.
quite interesting. Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like tags is maybe the closest I can think of existing. But you
I
still
mean,
need to like.
you can have things like tags and stuff. The What needs to happen really is how you present that to the
Yeah,
user, to the designer. So it would kind of require. It's the sort of thing I think you could do, but you'd need a good programmer to sort of actually create the interface in that way. And there might be multiple ways of looking at it. I think actually sort of multiple. So you could just maybe select like one page and see all the links that come off that page, and you could maybe go down to different levels of detail. I think it's yeah, bit of work involved in doing something like that, but one day at a time.
yeah. Something I'm not even remotely familiar with though, so it might be worth for myself just going and having a little Google and seeing what is out there,
Mm,
what other
mm.
people have used, if there's any way to copy it that's not quite so intensive as programming a whole new application.
Yeah. I mean, there's things like mind maps and stuff like that, but using that type of idea. But for this, I think it would need something specific. It's not going to happen today, but it's good to think about. It's good to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, is there anything else that that I haven't seen that you've been working on?
That's the extent from what I've done.
Okay.
Gemma has been keeping me updated with a design for the enemy. So hopefully next week we'll have something more than just a red cube to show off.
Oh, okay. Oh, you say not okay. Yeah. Good.
But that's a teaser for next week.
So the red, we're gonna have more than the red cube. Fantastic. Good to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
That has. I mean, I can show a bit of that process actually, because it
Sure.
ended up being quite a bit of a wonder as to how to sort of get to more of a thought out design. I'll just grab my Miro board.
You have a Miro board and a Canva board.
Yeah, Miro just makes more sense to me. So
Interesting.
this is where Gemma and I put a lot of ideas. This is all Gemma's thinking. So yeah, you can kind of see taking different routes, like the cute stuff, the computer virus, important things like satisfying to run over, and then I came in and highlighted in yellow sort of where my brain was going, which ended up being sort of cane toad, the radioactivity, and a pop. That being said, as a South Australian, I've never seen a cane toad in real life, so
yeah, they're not
mine's all
down
just sort of the
they're not
idea.
down to Adelaide yet, are they?
No.
Give us some time.
Yeah, right. But yeah, and so Gemma showed me this, and we
Cool.
had a big sort of brainstorm, and I threw out some of these images.
Oh, look at the size of that cane toad that guy's got
I-
there. Oh
Huge.
my god, that
Uh,
is actually it's a woman who's holding it, I think. Wow, that
Crazy.
is. Yeah, I certainly have seen lots of cane toads. That's one of the biggest. I've never seen one that big. That's huge.
Yeah. So that was sort of the Australian influence on it, I suppose. We had sort of routes that went through the internet and sort of viruses, and we threw out this idea of the Franken turret early on, and then Stray seems to be pretty deeply held in a lot of the design choices we're making.
Oh, that's interesting because I mean, those design choices are obviously from Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
So okay, so so it's Half-Life 2 removed by 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I remembered there's a video of this little ball robot that rolls around and scuttles along.
Oh, cool.
And I liked the design of this because we like the sort of nature of the enemies we have, where they jump sort of randomly. And so I was saying, if we can get something egg-shaped, so that it self-rights, the idea that the enemy always comes back to its feet on the bottom because of the way it's shaped and sort of weighted.
Okay.
Sort of like this guy, and then it can bounce like a cane toad or a grasshopper. So that's sort of where the design has gone. And yeah, we'll see how Gemma goes.
Oh,
next
okay.
week.
Yeah, it'd be good to see that. I'm just thinking technically, all the how do you do that from a programming point of view? Okay, fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to make the design make the programming easier. My idea is, if it can always roll back onto its feet just by physics, then we don't have to worry about programming in edge cases.
And
or
so
stuff upside down.
in your world, how often, if you have an egg and you just sort of let go of it, how often does it end up on that side?
Well, I
upright?
mean, the image is misleading. It should be rotated, right? It should be
Oh, okay. So you want it to... Okay. That's good. So it actually should be on the... You just grab the top of it and rotate it. Yeah, is that rotate? No.
No, that wants to draw an arrow. That's fine. I thought it'd be easier.
Oh, okay. So I was thinking that it wow, how can Myro not make this easy?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, okay.
Yep.
I'm not even sure with you might have to play around the physics and see whether that concept works or not.
Yeah.
And also,
And I
like,
mean,
even if it does stop on, like, the side, like, is it upside down or is it right side up or?
Yeah, I think you need like a rounded pyramid shape.
Oh, okay.
With like a heavy
Rounded
weight in the bottom, I think.
with a heavy weight in the bottom. Can you do that with Unreal?
I think so.
The other option.
The center of mass on the car, so I'd hope you could do that to just a static mesh.
Okay. Well, the other option is to do lots of maths. Why don't do that part? Just go the maths route.
No, please. Anything but that.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd want to go. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what would be an easy way. Well, if you can change the center of mass, yeah, I'd be playing around with that. I'd give that a, because that's probably something you can easily set up. You just get a sphere, make it, elongate it. If you can change the center of mass and give it some mass, and then play around with it in physics, you pretty soon won't take you long to work out whether that concept works or not.
Yeah, and then the hope is, you can hide like the mesh and use that as, as long as it matches close enough to the design, use it just as like the hip body, I suppose. And just have like the nice looking design on top, just as a visual thing.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not skeptical at all. No. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. That's great. I just can't get my eyes off that huge cane toad in the center.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it off now. It's freaking me out.
So ugly. Yeah, that's terrible. So what are the plans from here? Like, you've done the servo. You've got some of your characters there. You have. Oh, hang on. You got the driver. Okay, so that's the main. That's us, isn't it? That's the driver.
Yes. That's the player character, yeah.
Paladine is the evil corporation.
Yep.
Rogue AI is the AI from the evil corporation.
Yep.
And the inhabitants, remind me again, we've got NPC 1, NPC 2. So you're going to need
NPCs.
So you need to update the old NPCs.
Yep.
And get some more visual stuff for PG. So how many more inhabitants are you planning for? Probably quite a few, or are you going to start with a few and then expand from there?
I think it's very dependent on the number of locations, which is still quite up in the air. We have, I think, our sort of pipeline for characters is going to be. We had this little brainstorm where we thought of different like jobs and hobbies, and then thought about characters stemming from those who would have modifiers for the gameplay, essentially. So that's sort of going to determine the characters. It probably would be smarter to think about how long each of that takes. And how many characters we sort of need as a minimum to flesh out the game, but just hasn't come that far, I guess. Yeah, in this development process. Okay.
So still feeling it's still feeling quite woolly at the moment. The sort of overall concept.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
How to address that? Like, at the moment. I mean, you've done the overall player story, yeah? Is this in here?
Yeah, I've got.
Can we see that?
In here. This is from.
So this is the overview. Yeah. Okay. Did you update? This is longer now, isn't it? So this looks like you've updated You've added some stuff,
No,
yeah?
this is still the same. I haven't
It's
gone
the
back
same.
to this.
Okay, okay. So I guess, yeah, I guess I'm looking at this at the moment. I'm sort of like, okay, so what's the game now? Um, Even though I know what the game plan stuff is, but
Yeah,
as you're saying, it's kind of a little woolly in certain areas and things. I feel like it'd be good to do something to get the core, have that core there, and maybe
like
I'm
the
just not
game
seeing it.
system, or
Uh,
or
so
like how the
okay,
game
so up,
looks
so
over
so
time.
if we think of the highest level is the way if you were playing the game, how you would describe it to a friend.
Yep.
So that's kind of the highest level. So thinking of maybe a couple of paragraphs or something, how you might describe that to a friend. But then there's, I guess, from that you get the sort of deeper levels. Yeah, at the moment, I guess I'm just not quite sure what you need to do there, but I'm feeling like, yeah, you've got the player stories there, they're good, but I'm just feeling like I'm missing something. You may have it in your mind, but I think I'm missing
Yeah,
something.
I think this is. I mentioned it the other week, but this is where I kind of see Yakuza being an interesting template to apply to it.
Mm-hmm.
The idea being that we sort of have a set of like mainline missions where you go from character to character, you learn their story, you do their deliveries,
Mm-hmm.
and then that sort of determines what side missions open up. And so through each section of the main set of missions, you'll get different side missions pop up, which are relating to different characters.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of where my idea for like how the game's structure is. But
Okay.
yeah, currently there's no documentation for that. That just exists in my head.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And who's the driver? Can we go to the driver and this is
The
us, isn't it?
driver,
The driver is us.
yeah,
So who is
this
the
was
driver?
written.
Who are we?
This was written when there was more emphasis on them as a character, but
Mm-hmm.
we had that massive sort of deep dive into it
Hmm.
where we sort of realized that the more we can strip away from who the player character is, the less there is to do, but also the fewer sort of boundaries there are between the player and the game. So
Mm-hmm. But
a lot of this is,
what about
yeah,
motivation? I think as the player, as the main driver, as the player, the avatar.
yeah,
Um, what's the avatar? What's the player's motivation? Why are they doing this? Who are they in the game world? Again, you don't have to. This is more backstory sort of thing. But like, why do they care? Why they're doing what they're doing? What's motivating? What's pushing them forward?
yeah. I think we talked about them being a driver for the Paladine Evil Company.
Oh, okay.
Um, and then recently, when we came up with this idea of the Rogue AI, we thought, well, maybe through whatever happenstance makes the most sense, the Rogue AI has caused the driver to become stranded in the exclusion zone with all the robot NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so there's that outside sort of setup for how they get there. But yeah, the motivation, I think the clearest motivation is to get back out of the exclusion zone.
Right.
But we're not
Excellent.
sure how we
Okay.
feel in terms of like a moral framework for the narrative. If you go
Hmm.
into this place and it's all about the community and helping them out, and then the motivation through the whole game is just to leave them again. Um, so yeah, it's
Well, I
still,
guess that could bring up a moral conundrum towards the end.
yeah,
Maybe there's the choice of leaving these NPCs or staying. You could that could be the end. You get the opportunity and you can decide: do you leave? Do you stay?
yeah. I think I do like that, but my where it's still quite fuzzy is it's like, how do you make that a satisfying ending if the player does choose to leave still? Like it feels quite intuitive how you make that satisfying for them staying. They get, fully welcomed into the community. Hooray, everything's happy. But
You
if
don't
they
have
choose to leave,
you don't have to decide that. I mean, you could just give them the choice, and whichever choice, maybe there's this little cutscene of them either leaving or heading back in. You don't have to decide
Yep.
that for them.
Yep.
They can have the option. Yeah, and potentially, I was just kind of wondering, with the driver as well. Maybe they get trapped in there. I don't know. Maybe they're the ones actually who are taking um, the machines that have become sentient. Perhaps he's the guy who drops them in, and somehow he gets trapped in there.
yeah, we threw that around. We think that's really fun,
Mm.
especially as a sort of revelation in that sort of first third, that first act. The idea of being like, oh, I'm personally directly responsible for these people being here, and giving sort of, there's I think there's like the overarching motivation is like, do the robots favors so you can upgrade the car to like get fast enough to do the jump to get over the fence, and then bringing in that other motivation of, like, how do you repay these people after you're responsible for stranding them out here. I think there's a good like tension in those motivations, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it'd be really good to sort of see a bit more. Just it doesn't have to be huge, but sort of those sort of things in here would be really good. Whoever's motivation.
I think that's another one where that's stuck in the Miro board at the moment.
Okay.
And it hasn't come through to here, but
Yeah.
I am interested to see. We sort of decided that they're going to be a silent protagonist, and so
Yeah.
I've got to. I think personally, I need to do a little bit of research on how I can communicate those sort of internal thoughts without being able to just write them out explicitly. So it'll be an interesting challenge for sure.
Can you think of other games where they do that?
It's this weird trap in my brain where I think about Half-Life and Portal being, very well-known, famous silent protagonists. But then as soon as I start to think about how that dialogue is formed, my brain jumps to Yakuza, where they write dialogue, and so I don't know what it is. It's just this little recursive loop in my brain that I need to crack before I can actually figure it out. So,
that's interesting. So, I mean, one thing we could do is actually spend a bit of time going through, like Half-Life 2 or Portal, and see if we can find some specific areas where they're doing that. Could be quite an interesting thing to do.
yeah.
Just look at how they communicate. So I'm thinking, obviously, there's some with Half-Life 2. Actually, with both of them, what am I talking about? There's what do they call it? I always forget that. Diegetic in the game, like there's text and stuff in the game.
Yeah, diegetic.
So, I mean, that's one way. That's a little brute force. I'm just thinking of the other ways that they communicate that stuff. How strong is it? How strongly do they communicate? Because other things I'm thinking of as well, the dialogue of GLaDOS also, I think, frames the player. And you see the player as well, so that's a little different.
Yeah. I mean,
You see the
thinking about-
avatar, not the player. You see the avatar.
Yeah.
The player's avatar.
thinking about GLaDOS, there is an opportunity to just sort of very directly take inspiration / copy, since we do have a digital AI that is trying to escape into the physical world. There's no reason why they couldn't be haunting the player character somehow, and so you can have the AI talking to you, reacting to the robots talking as sort of the devil on your shoulder, and
So I mean, that could be
the
just like
robots being unaware.
I mean, that could be kind of like a mobile or a radio device or something. Yeah, is that what you're talking about? The voice
Yeah.
coming through.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Like some way for the player to hear communication from the AI would be,
Mm.
and there's plenty of like lore to justify that. That's
So it's adding more elements. I guess I'm hearing scope increasing.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 It is. It is still
Yeah.
just text and like narrative, which I say just, but
So you're not going to do voiceover. You wouldn't do like voice
no,
acting.
no,
Okay.
no. Voice acting is way out of the picture for the game currently.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it also is a really effective way to bring more tension into narrative moments. To have somebody whose goals are almost completely unaligned with the person you're speaking with. So
Yeah. So that's something because like, yeah, you're talking about the main theme of the story being building community. I don't know. I feel like it's potentially complicating it a little bit if you add like that AI character. You sort of you I don't know. I think you could maybe the danger would maybe be losing that kind of simple cozy game type thing.
yeah, it turns into quite a narrative.
Yeah, a different game. So I mean, I guess my view of this game, it's always been relatively simple. So it's about the driving and stuff. So I maybe, particularly with this game, with the budget you have, you might want to err on the side of simplicity.
Mhm.
Yeah, at this point in time, because yeah. I think that might be a good idea.
Yeah, no, I
Scope
appreciate
it-
it.
scope
It's
it
really
right in.
easy for me to get swept away, especially in this narrative side.
We all.
I
we
like
all
the
do
idea
that.
though of playing through some more Half-Life and sort of breaking down how they show like Freeman's motivations through other people's dialogues.
Yeah, happy to
also-
do that.
Even thinking about the AI, like they don't necessarily have to be a voice in your head, but they can show up. I'm thinking about that like ending where you choose what you're doing. They can play more of an active presence.
I'd be inclined, yeah, to use the NPCs for the narrative.
Yep.
Try and stick to the NPCs. Don't add another external character. Maybe it can be there, but maybe there's something else. Maybe there's other things that happen, but we don't necessarily know what's going on. Don't know.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So maybe we should do that. Maybe we should organise that. Which so Half-Life 2, episode 1, 2, or 3. Which one did? Which is your favourite?
I've only played through them once each, honestly. I think I might have played. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
They're not short games either.
No, I might. I think just like Half-Life 2.
Episode 1.
Yeah.
It's a good one to start with, I think, because they're introducing the character. Yeah, because you just wake
Exactly.
up. You just wake up on
On the train, right?
yeah. I mean, I think I actually have it. I think I actually have it downloaded and everything on my. If you want to, we've got half an hour now. We can actually jump into
Yeah,
it if you
sure.
want. If I'm correct,
sounds
I'm
good.
pretty sure. Yeah, Half-Life 2. Here we go.
And you said we didn't prepare earlier.
Hey, well, I'm sorry. I have been a bit busy this week. My PhD's going well. That's the good news.
Oh, good.
But yeah, we'll jump in here. We'll have a look at least of the. I think if we could just look at the intro, because I think there's some really
Yeah.
interesting stuff in the just the first. Well, we've got half an hour. Let's say we've got half an hour. So let's we just hit play. All good. Are you still sharing your?
I can stop sharing. Would you mind sharing the game once you've got it up on Discord?
Sure.
Because otherwise I won't be able to hear anything. That feels
Okay.
vital.
Do I do that? Do I have to do that? Why are these things all weird? Do I have to play first and then share to get the sound?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's just go. I've played for 85 hours.
I think I had 23. 27.
27, okay. Like, it's, yeah, compared to Rust and what are the other games I've played? 7 Days to Die, like over 1,000 hours. Oh wow, they've changed it a bit. First things first. Oh, hang on. So, share this with you. Share my screen. Ah, look, that's what happens. Oh, share. Share screen.
Awesome.
Okay. You can hear?
Yep.
So first thing I'm going to do is going to turn down the audio.
Oh, is it? Definitely.
Is it really loud for you?
Not on Discord.
Oh, it's really loud for me. Still really loud. Yeah, I think that's better. What else have we got? Is this,
Don't forget the music volume as well.
Oh, didn't I? Thank you. Captions. What's the difference between subtitles and closed captions?
Closed captions, I think, will have like sound effects and stuff in it as well. With subtitles.
Let's go closed captions. Silence the audio while the game is windowed in the background. Okay, whatever. And video. Advanced. Okay. DirectX 9. Oh, goodness me. Okay. Audio, yeah. Gameplay. Normal, yeah, okay. Half-Life 2. So I think last time this was separate. There we go. So we've got Half-Life 2, Episode 1, Episode 2. Alright.
Half-Life 2, right.
New game. It just looks so good.
Yeah.
Like, this game still looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, Gabe. Well done.
You did it.
Alright, so let's... Do we want the commentary? Do you want the commentary track on?
No.
I don't think the commentary is as good as Portal, so that's good.
I really wanted to go through Half-Life Alyx with the director commentary. I thought that would be interesting, but I don't have a lot of space.
Just buy a new hard drive. That's what I did. 2 terabytes.
Oh, I mean, in my house.
Oh, okay.
Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of a rest, and all the effort in the world would have gone to waste until... Well, let's just say your hour has come again.
Wow, there's a lot of foreshadowing in here. I'd forgotten all about this.
Man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes.
Okay.
Felt very
I didn't see you get on.
directed.
What's that?
G-Man felt very directed at the player, you know, telling them what is going to happen and, you know,
Hmm.
Like, no one deserves a rest more than you. That sort of stuff. Like, it's just being explicit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome. Welcome to City 17.
Okay. So there's a bit of communication. That's telling us something, isn't it?
Relocate to one of our finest remaining urban centers.
Yeah, no better way to say you're being watched than flash
Yeah.
photography right in your face.
My administration here in the Citadel so thoughtfully provided.
So a question about that. So I mean, you know, you could use something like that in your game. Wouldn't be too hard. But would it work with the theme? So the theme of community building.
Through on your way to parts unknown. Welcome to City
To know
Yeah,
that you're
I
being
mean,
watched.
I think there is like there is a acknowledgement of the player being in this world. You know, like the watcher takes the photo, the people around you, you know, engage and like notice you're there, notice you weren't there, and even what's his face on the screen being like welcome. It is things that can take in the sense of, you know, like having dialogue that is explicitly acknowledging the player.
Welcome to City 17. You have chosen or been chosen to relocate to
So I think this is one of the areas where keeping the theme in mind is really important. Again, like you could add a whole lot of stuff, but scope and theming.
Yeah.
Oh,
Watch it, will you? Stop that. No more.
sorry.
No, I'm thinking like
They never leave.
if the first time you meet a character, they should be like, "Oh, you're new. Hello," you know, like being fully aware, and then after that, having the dialogue change to be like, "Oh, you're back again. Good to see you again." Like that presence of mind and remembering in a sense.
Welcome to City 17. You have chosen or been chosen to relocate to one of our finest urban centers. I thought so much of City 17 that I elected to establish my administration here in the Citadel so thoughtfully provided.
So I'm playing through this as well, and I'm thinking about the amount of time and energy to, you know, for character interaction, things like that. I mean, like that's probably beyond the scope of that level of interaction.
Got a standard relocation
Yeah.
just like everybody else.
The
Hi.
reactivity is so nice though. I'm like trying to think of budget ways to have reactivity.
It's not impossible, but you need a good programmer.
About that beer I owed you. It's me, Gordon. Barney from Black Mesa. Hey, sorry for the scare. I had to put on a show for the cameras. I've been working undercover with civil protection. I can't take too long or they'll get suspicious. I'm way behind on my beating quota.
Yes, Barney, what is it? I'm in the middle of a critical test.
Sorry, Doc, but look who's here.
Great Scott!
Hi.
Gordon Freeman! I expected more warning.
Yeah, you and me both, Doc.
So that's pretty blatant, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he's a great Scott Gordon Freeman. So it's not as subtle as you might think it is, eh? Is this
Yeah,
as subtle as
that's-
you thought it was? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those things of like your memory of it is it's like, oh, it's so subtle, and then when you're actively breaking it down, you're like, no, this is basically as explicit as it could be.
pretty much, which is good, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I think that's good. So, how would you do this in Arvo? Would you stick with the text?
Yeah, my current thinking is if we can get a dialogue system with enough functionality so
Mhm.
that we can track certain progression
Mhm.
in the player, so that if you did a side mission, a character who has relevance to that could have extra or different dialogue if you have completed that side mission versus if you haven't.
Mhm.
And I think there's a lot of ways you can really tailor that if we have the dialogue system to be as functional as we would need.
So I do know a good programmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you intend?
Who's very good at doing those kind of systems.
Alex is around here somewhere. She would have a better idea how to get him here.
Oh, as long as he stays away from checkpoints, we should be okay. Listen, I gotta go, Doc. We're taking enough chances as it is.
Very well. And
I like that as well. As long as he stays away from checkpoints, like really trying to tell the player.
We're gonna have to make
Mm.
our way to Dr. Kleiner's lab. Oh, man, that's what I was afraid of. Get in here, Gordon, before you blow my cover.
All right.
Pile up some stuff to get through that window. Keep going till you're in the plaza.
Here we go. Here's the training. Oh, hang on. I can't pick it up. Oh wait. Oh, hang on. We can get up here. It's nice to be back playing this game, to be honest. Oh, a loading screen. We don't see those very much.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I can't break the lock. Okay.
Yeah, I grew up playing games where the trend was to hide loading screens with the animations.
Oh!
The first time
Gotcha!
seeing this, I was like, wait, it just says loading. Oh,
I got him. Oh. I can't run. Oh, I can't get out. He still can't get me. Get this guy. How do I get out? Where am I supposed to go?
back that way, I think. I don't know if this is soft locked yet though, until he's here.
Oh, maybe? Okay.
Oh my god. Yeah.
That must be locked.
This simple fact has far-reaching implications. It requires
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, hang on. Oh, no, maybe I could have just... Oh, maybe I could have just gone through. I didn't try. Okay, so there's a nod there to the CCP. Or to the, what's the Soviet Union? Mmm. Okay. I can't run. Are you gonna? Is your character gonna run?
Yes. Definitely.
Miss me.
Oop.
Ow. Oh. I love these things. These are like my favorite enemies. Even now. Okay. So there's a lot we're being told through the environment, of course.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just because it's done so well that it feels so easy to, the theming of being watched and being powerless.
First the building,
Or if it's just, it's just done so well that...
The concern I have though is this is not what your game, like there's a major difference between your game and this. Run. Like theming wise.
Oh yeah, huge.
And Yakuza as well.
Surprisingly, less so for Yakuza though.
Okay, you're gonna have to show me that one. You're gonna have
Yeah.
to tell me how that works, because
I mean, in every Yakuza game I've played, there's been when you do side missions, you know, it's you do a couple objectives and the side mission ends, and the person's like, "Thank you so much," and then at some point you get to you do a side mission which is way bigger, and it'll be like you need to go and recruit people, and so you go and find all the people that you've helped by doing their side mission, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll come help you do, you know, whatever it is you need help with." And so that feels very community building, and there is like the idea that, you know, Kiryu is this protective figure. Every game, or the game's almost really predominantly set in Kamurocho, which is like your home. It's always like talked about as an important part of the character of Kiryu, and you know, whenever you're helping someone, it's you're doing something that only you can do that they couldn't do for themselves. Obviously, the difference being that you're usually beating people up.
oh, we do a bit of that in this as well. So I love the way like they build up the tension by, you know, oh you gotta run, like the timing and everything on this. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. So we're up on the roof now as well, and this is a classic one. So I don't think you can actually be shot, for instance, up here. Oh.
Oh, you blocked one with the can.
Hey, that's what you want. So there's it definitely gives you that sense of tension. Oop. But really, I don't know. You probably can die, I guess.
Oh yeah,
ouch.
if you fall for sure.
But can you get shot? Oh, here we go. Oh, go in. There we go.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like the
Oh!
training wheels are still on.
Oh! Ah, that's not fair.
No, you don't.
Oh, here we go. Here we get to meet Alex.
Dr. Freeman, I presume.
If we missed it the first time, we now know we're Dr. Freeman.
Yeah.
Combine can be slow to wake, but once they're up, you don't
The rule is 3 times.
At least.
Yeah, 3 times
coming this way.
people will miss it.
It occurred to him that you might not have a map.
Oh, you joined? Yeah.
Which is really funny in context of Half-Life as well. You know, after how big Half-Life 1 was, but
I'm sure he
I think it's a good lesson, you know, you don't take anything for granted. You still
had a few words, aren't
go back to those base principles.
Remember him from Black Mesa? Your old administrator.
I don't, to be
Get
honest.
my dad started on Dr. Breen.
Have you played Half-Life 1 recently?
Through here.
I played Black Mesa, which was like the fan
Yeah.
remake.
Yeah. I tried playing it. It was horrible.
Funny, you showing up on this
Half-Life
one
1
in
or Black
particular.
Mesa?
Black Mesa.
Oh, I didn't mind it. But I have never played Half-Life 1, so I didn't really have anything to compare it to.
I found it very... I don't know, I might have played an early version of it as well.
It's a dangerous route to my father's lab, through the old canals.
Okay.
Today, we're finally on the verge of having a better way.
Yeah, because I'm here. Actually, her attitude towards you is a big thing too.
Buy you a drink.
The way she talks to you and everything. I don't think we understand enough about how much...
By the way, nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, there we go. See, we don't probably put enough stock in how people talk to us in games defines our identity as well.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, everything all right?
And I think the contrast plays a huge part, right? Like, you've just come through all this tension, all this sort of oppression and violence, and then you have her, even like over the few like words that are spoken, she's coming down in sort of energy and softer in tone
Yeah.
to be like really emphasizing that like
Even if trouble does tend to follow.
Warmth.
you're here, you're bringing order and calm and like the change that we're looking for, and it's
Very
Yep.
opportune time. Alex has just installed
and that's
the final
something
piece
I
for
can
a
hopefully take
resurrected
for
dog.
Arvo is that contrast.
Credit for the breakthrough, Doctor.
If you're, you know,
talents surpass
driving around in this harsh
Let's just see if this thing
sort of
works, okay?
environment, and then you pull up and all the characters are really like bright and positive.
So maybe you need to include that in one of your player stories as well, just to
Yeah.
Don't worry,
capture that.
He's coming with me.
That's right, Barney. This is a red letter day. We'll inaugurate the new teleport with a double transmission.
You mean it's working? For real this time? Because I still have nightmares about that cat.
I love that.
There's nothing to be nervous about.
What cat?
We've made major strides since then. Major strides.
What cat?
Doc, since he's not taking the streets, you might as well get him out of his civvies.
What?
They avoid the cat. That's interesting.
I'll give you the honor.
I've got to get back on my...
So you're gonna have to have dialogue. I mean, whether it's just printed dialogue or spoken dialogue. Obviously, you're gonna have to have some fairly, like a fair amount of dialogue. Oh,
Get it off me! Lamar! There you are.
I thought you got rid of that pest.
Certainly not. Never fear, Gordon. She's debeaked and completely harmless. The worst she might do is attempt to couple with your head.
yay!
Get that thing away from me.
Here, my pet. Hop up. No, not up there. No, no. Careful, Lamar. Those are quite fragile. Oh, fine. It'll be another week before I can coax her out of there.
Yeah, longer if we're lucky.
Barney, you're not an animal person.
So what is interesting is you're trapped in here until this is finished.
Slip into your suit now.
Let me slip into my suit. Hey.
Well, Gordon.
I think the
see your
conversations
suit still fits
happen
you like a
around you as well,
glove part.
Mm-hmm.
I've made
which
a
is
few
important.
modifications, but
Yeah,
I'll just
and you can't go
make
too far
essentials. Now
when you're
let's
here.
The
So we'll go to the end of this and
environment suit has been
then we'll
redesigned
wrap it up.
and utility.
Mhm.
Oh dear.
Doc, we don't have time for this. At least get that suit juiced up, Gordon.
Good idea. There's a charger on the wall.
Yeah, got it, guys. Thanks.
I've modified your suit to draw power from Combine energy outlets, which are plentiful wherever they patrol.
Exposition.
Meanwhile, let's get
This
this
is
show on
the
road.
opposite of show don't tell.
But then you have like really good showing instead of telling right there, like just that extra level of, you know, how they've had to do all this in secrecy and with avoiding detection. They've got the picture frame and the retinal scan.
Would you position yourself near the panel over there and wait for my word?
What panel?
Yes,
Here?
yes, Eli. Bit of a holdup on this end. You'll never guess who found his way into our lab this morning.
It's me.
That's not who I think it is.
Hi.
Indeed it is, and it's our intention to send him packing straight away in the company of your lovely daughter.
Are you ready for us, Dad?
We're all set on this end.
Then let's do it.
Let's see. The massless field flux should self-limit, and I've clamped the manifold parameters to base and LT overfall. Gilbert inclusive. Conditions could hardly be more ideal.
That's what you said last time.
Hey, yeah, about that cat.
Initializing in 3,
I like the cat.
2, 1. No, fiddlesticks. What now?
Dr. Pluck.
Dear me, you're right. Gordon, would you mind plugging us in? Excellent.
You gonna let Gordon throw the switch?
What switch? Where? This one? Oh,
Very good.
that's interesting.
Final sequence. Commencing.
No indication I could actually interact with that.
Mm. And it's interesting that they ask you to do that as well. It's like a really good sort of gate to make sure the player's paying attention
Mmm.
to that crucial moment.
Thank goodness. My relief is almost out.
Fantastic work.
Well, I can't take all the credit. Dr. Freeman proved an able assistant.
Let's go ahead and bring Gordon through now.
That's what those PhDs are for.
See you again in a few moments.
What's that?
Good job, Gordon.
Plugging in a plug and throwing a switch.
Oh, absolutely.
IT education really pays for
And beating people over the head.
All right, Barney.
Yeah.
And shooting people. Yeah, yeah.
PhD in crowbar combat.
Mm-hmm.
Send you Kiva.
and not a moment too soon.
Excellent. Initializing in 3, 2, 1. Barney, if you'll be so kind.
Good luck out there, Gordon.
Yes, indeed. We're ready to project you, Gordon. Bon voyage, and
Bye.
best of luck in your future endeavors. Final sequence. The hell? What is it?
It's your head, the freaking head hopper.
Lamar, ready, go!
Is Lamar with him? Forget about that thing.
He's coming through, Dad. What's going on, Judy? I'm not sure. It seems to be some kind of interference.
Gordon, stay put. You'll get drowned.
Something's drawing him away.
What's the meaning of this?
Who are you? How did you get in here?
Hey, make it fast. I'm getting him out of there.
And just wait as you feel. It will peel you apart.
Just lost Gordon. What's going on?
I wish I knew. I'm encountering unexpected interference.
Don't worry, Gordon. We'll
There he is. Oh, we're losing him again.
The man I saw. I'm all but certain it was Gordon Freeman.
Third time. There you go. If you don't know by now, you're never going to know.
Didn't come through.
Then where is he?
Behind you. Shut it down. Shut it down.
You must get out of here. Quick!
get down out of sight. I'll come find you.
All right. So, oh, yay. We'll leave it there, eh?
Yeah, I think so.
That's plenty to go through.
I got a lot of notes.
Save game. It's fun getting back into it, to be honest. Definitely enjoy that game. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, really interesting. I think there's quite a lot to take out of that. Even just going into it again, it's yeah.
It's almost like they made a really good game.
Yeah, well,
Who would have
exactly.
thought they could do it?
Who would have thought? So yeah, any sort of final maybe comments on that? Like, what did you get out of? What's some of the things highlights you got out of that?
I think the main one is just you can be way more explicit than I would naturally guess, and it feels like a big green flag if Valve have
Yeah.
done it in Half-Life. Then it's like, well, it probably works well.
Are
Probably a good
there
reason that they've done it that way.
are there any more recent games? Just wondering. So there's Stray. We've talked about Stray, haven't we? We can
Yeah.
look at, I mean, we can look at Stray because that's a newer game and compare the two. We can do that next week.
Yeah.
Because Half-Life 2 is, goodness me, how old now? Plenty old. I think it's more than
Yeah.
10 years old now, isn't it? Like it's we're 2025. When did that come out? Is it 15 years old? 2010 or something?
2004 it says on Steam.
2004? Goodness me! It's 21 years old. Jeez. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I reckon Stray might be a good one. We've been through this before in a class, I know. But I think this is a slightly... When we went through it last time, we were looking at leading the player through, whereas I think your focus at the moment... And this is more of your type of game. This is more of a cozy game. This to me is more your game.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, I think so.
So let's do that next time, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Sounds great.
Yeah, I think that'd be a really good idea. And I think maybe even there might be more for you to get out of this one.
Yep.
I reckon. So, cool. Sorry, I did cut you off, didn't I? Did you? The main things you got out of that? We've got 2 minutes.
Oh, just being explicit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Alrighty. Well, we might leave it there, eh?
Sounds good.
All right. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
I'll
See ya.
catch you later.